Facebook's parent company, Meta, is just the latest tech giant to resort to mass layoffs.
In a letter to its employees this morning, CEO Mark Zuckerberg announced that the company will let go of more than 11,000 people, roughly 13% of Meta's staff. For more on this, let's bring in Ben Bergman. He is a senior correspondent covering venture capital and startups for Insider. Hey, Ben, what's driving these mass layoffs? Ben, do we have you?
I think this image froze just at the last moment. It was a very tough question. You stumped him right away.
Right. Those hard-hitting questions.
We will try and connect with Ben again. Ben, if you can hear us.
Oh, Ben, you're back. Wonderful. So, we have been seeing a lot of layoffs in the tech sector, but Meta is a power player. What is driving them in this announcement?
Basically, they expanded their staff, and specifically CEO Mark Zuckerberg expanded his staff at the worst possible time. In the last year, he grew Facebook's headcount by 30%. And that happened as there was a huge slowdown in advertising revenue. And he was pouring much of this into the metaverse, which has seen very little profit so far, and pouring billions of dollars into that just as the ad market was slowing.
And what's remarkable as well is that Meta's stock has fallen more than 70% this year. And, from an outsider's perspective like mine, I'm just struck by how Mark Zuckerberg doesn't seem to be making things people want. Fewer people trust the website because of election interference. Facebook is now more of a place for baby boomers to share their opinions. And this metaverse doesn't seem a place people want to be based on the things I've just said. How do you see the company structuring itself? Is Mark Zuckerberg to blame here, and how could it even bounce back?
Yeah, I don't see how he's not to blame. And you said people don't want it. I've heard even Facebook's employees aren't using these metaverse products. And I was at a tech conference with a lot of executives from Apple and other companies, and they just don't see this metaverse thing panning out because they say people want to be in the real world. They don't understand why Facebook is spending billions of dollars on this. And much of the action these days is on TikTok. That's what younger people are using. That's eating Facebook's lunch. And also Instagram, which Facebook acquired, is the major profit driver for Facebook these days, and Meta, but it's just not having the same sort of growth that it did. And Facebook was once valued at $1 trillion. Now it's about a quarter of that.
Wow.
Given all of that, and Zuckerberg wasn't alone in thinking that virtual reality was going to be the next big thing.
Sure.
But with these layoffs, do you have an indication that Meta's big plans for virtual reality and the so-called metaverse is now something that's being rethought?
Not really. Zuckerberg, remember, he controls Meta's stock. It's not like other tech companies like Peloton, where the CEO can be forced out if the company performs badly. So he can kind of do whatever he wants. And he's doing these layoffs across Meta, but it's not clear that he's abandoning the metaverse by any means.
All right, Ben Bergman, thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks so much.